The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Jim Gaffigan announced a new special. Let's listen to the trailer.
Sometimes when people find out I have 5 kids, they think I'm good at parenting, which is kind of like assuming people with lots of cats are not crazy. That's why every dad on vacation looks like he lost a bet. We have too many kids, but if I did anything about it now, people would get so upset.
Dark Pale coming to Amazon Prime Video July 25th. It's Jim Gaffigan's 10th comedy special. Amazon says it will be available to stream in over 240 countries and territories. I was wondering how many countries there are in the world. That territories thing probably bumps the number a little bit. How many countries are there in the world? The Google machine says there are 195 countries in the world today. I'm going to guess that the special is not available in North Korea, so there must be quite a few territories, but I digress. Jim Gaffigan is a 7-time Grammy-nominated comedian, actor, writer, and producer. He will next be seen in Steven Soderbergh's limited series Full Circle, coming to Max, and Netflix's Unfrosted alongside Jerry Seinfeld. Can't wait. Nate Bargatze was at the NHL Awards. That's a thing, apparently. He's a lifelong Nashville Predators fan, which I questioned, and then I looked up how long the Predators have been around and how old Nate is, and I went, yeah, I guess he is. I mean, that's one of those new teams to me. Apparently, Nate had wide eyes as he shook hands and exchanged hellos with country stars and hockey players. He was happy this all took place in Nashville. He said, it's awesome to be home. There's nothing like it. I don't meet a lot of different people like this. This is a world that I don't know everybody, so it's fun that I got to meet some people here. Who is he looking forward to meeting most? Hockey star Connor McDavid. He said, I like that kind of greatness. Jay Leno was on Neil Brennan's podcast. They talked about the little war there with Letterman. Jay said, the time slot belonged to NBC, and David kind of pissed people off, too. You know, I love Letterman. The thing I liked about it was that I got the ratings and Dave got the critics, and that seems fair. And you know something? If you flipped it, that'd be okay too. I think we both did okay in that way. He and I were the perfect foil for each other because any time I spent with Letterman, I always left with more material than I came in with. We'd have a conversation, we'd both be laughing, and there's no greater joy than putting something in that Letterman genuinely laughed at. Because Letterman didn't always find things funny. Jay Leno told a story that if the Leno version of this is true, this is pretty rotten. Jay said, I remember one time his producer called me. This is when Dave had his heart attack. And they said, please don't say anything on The Tonight Show. Just don't mention it. Don't say anything. So I didn't. Then about 10 days later, Letterman says, the only one who never mentioned it is Leno. And Jay said, I walked into that. I was set up. Jay Leno says, to this day, Letterman makes me laugh as much as anybody. Fascinating character, funny, and there's a connection we have that I can't describe. It's like sex. I don't care how it works. Just leave it. I want to make love. I don't want to be a gynecologist. From the Laugh Button, Sony Pictures is making a movie called Dumb Money, based on the Anti-Social Network book. In the cast, Pete Davidson, Nick Offerman, Seth Rogen, Vincent D'Onofrio, and a bunch of others. The Laugh Button says it's a classic David versus Goliath tale. It makes you want to root for the little guys as you watch the story unfold. Dumb Money in theaters September 22nd. From Survivor.net, Kethy Griffin was showered in applause as she made her long-awaited return to the comedy stage after 5 years. She had been battling lung cancer and had vocal cord surgery. In an Instagram post, Kethy wrote, you guys, I'm so grateful to this audience. I still can't get over it. My first live show in 5 years. Over the weekend, she had headlined the Center Stage comedy show in Las Vegas. She wrote, after an international political scandal and surviving lung cancer, I finally felt like I was home. In 2021, Kethy Griffin was diagnosed with stage 1 lung cancer and underwent surgery. She had half her left lung removed. Her voice was left distorted due to intubation during the surgery. She described her voice as sounding like Minnie Mouse meets Marilyn Monroe. Bad news for Amy Schumer. Paramount Plus, they've been cutting shows left and right. I know the Star Trek people are really upset that they got rid of one of the Star Trek shows. Well, Paramount Plus has taken Inside Amy Schumer off. Amy was hoping she could score an Emmy nomination. But now, the entire series removed from Paramount Plus, including the recent 5th season. I guess it didn't do too well.
Lyle Hall, a cantankerous real estate attorney, has lost the ability to walk after a deadly car crash. But he has also gained something, the ability to read people's thoughts. And not just the living. When a girl's voice calls to him from inside the abandoned Old Vic, Lyle is given hope of regaining the use of his legs, but it quickly turns to fear. This ghostly girl says Lyle's daughter, a rookie detective, will die in 4 days. Can he save her? Find out on the first season of Ghosthampton, a comedy horror podcast.
One of the ways you can support the show is become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts. So for $5 a month, you'll get the episodes ad-free and early. And I'm specifically mentioning this today because tomorrow you're going to wake up to a whole bunch of episodes because Johnny Mac's hoping not to get in the studio over July 4th weekend. So I've been recording ahead. So, if you're like, wow, I really wish I had like 3 or 4 episodes to listen all at once. Good news. You can try out the premium option on Apple Podcasts for free. You can get all the episodes and then cancel it. Or if you're like, I like the show, I'll hook Johnny Mac up with $5 a month. Nice, frictionless way to do that. I have some other recommendations for you to listen to that I've been listening to. I'm catching up on Theo Von's podcast. He had John Mulaney on a while back now. But, scroll down the feed to where it says John Mulaney. That's a really good listen. Mark Maron had Kyle Kinane on. I did an airport run at 4 a.m. on Monday, and I checked that out. That was very enjoyable. And on the Two Bears podcast, Tom Segura had Ari Shaffir on. That was also a good listen. JFL added a bunch of shows. They didn't send out a release, but they sent out this mailer. I'm both on the professional list and the consumer list. This from the consumer list, and it's got a graphic. So let's see. Newly announced, Donnell Rawlings, Gianmarco Ceresi, who's fantastic. Adrienne Iapolucci, really fantastic. Don't sleep on her. She's like one of my favorites right now. Joelle Nicole Johnson, Deborah DiGiovanni, Robbie Hoffman, Ellie Makovsky, Ruben Kay, Josie Long, Arthur Simeon, Shane Torres, and Ariel Elias. Remember, somebody threw a beer at her? I said I won't go because I can't go on the day of New Faces. Now I'm tempted to be like, I wonder when like Gianmarco and Adrian are playing. You can hear I want to go. You can hear it, right? You can hear it, yes. John Goodman suggested that the Connors, Roseanne minus Roseanne, that might be coming to an end. Goodman said, it's lasted longer than I thought we would. It was just supposed to be like an 8-episode show. Then they picked us up again. They keep picking us up. The series has been picked up for another 13 episodes with an option for 9 more. 22 episodes of anything these days, that's like 9 seasons of something on Netflix. Slight exaggeration. The season 5 finale drew 3.6 million viewers. I can see why they want to keep this going. That's a lot of viewers for not football these days. Executive producer Bruce Helford has hinted that Sarah Gilbert expressed to the network that we didn't want to go out without knowing that we were going out with a series finale so we can build to the right ending. And at this point in time, we feel like next season is possibly going to be the last season of the Connors. I wouldn't say that definitely because the numbers were so good this season. We've all had a really good time, but it's definitely a possibility. Hey guys, never leave a hit show. ABC will negotiate with you. Tell them, do what the Always Sunny people do. Go, hey, we'll make 6 of them and then we'll take 2 years off. Don't walk away from a hit show. And here's a note from Deadline. Russell Weissman has been up to Chief Operating Officer at All Things Comedy. That's a podcast network. Okay, congratulations, Russell. Why are you mentioning it, Johnny Mac? Because of the press release with a statement that comes from Bill Burr, and I'm confident Bill Burr said these exact words in this exact way. All right, time out. So I have some experience here. I've seen my share of press releases where the publicist writes a quote and then asks the person who supposedly said the quote and goes, are you okay with this? And the person just says, yeah, whatever. I can't imagine Bill Burr actually said these words, but maybe I'm wrong. Quoting Bill Burr said, at All Things Comedy, we're very excited to announce Russell Weissman's promotion to COO. He has been one of the driving forces behind our growth since starting at ATC. We are looking forward to continuing to grow our podcast platform with him in this new position. Thank you, Bill Burr. That's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. Later.
Hello, I am Mark Francis, host of Palace Intrigue, the podcast that delves into the daily drama of the British royal family. These short daily episodes cover the latest news and scandals involving the likes of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Kate Middleton, King Charles, and the rest. From backroom sources to public controversies, we've got you covered. Whether you're a long-time fan or just curious about the royals, Palace Intrigue is the perfect podcast for you. So join us as we explore the lives, legacies, and dramas of the British monarchy. Subscribe now and never miss an episode of Palace Intrigue.